to establish regional, territorial, supreme, high, and first instance courts. The particulars of these courts shall be determined by laws enacted for the purpose by the regional legislatures. And G, regional supreme courts shall have the highest and final judicial power over regional and sub-regional matters. They shall also exercise the jurisdiction of the Federal High Court in any civil and criminal matters. Part 4.3, drafting and enactment of regional constitutions. 1. The respective state assemblies shall act jointly and severally to prescribe the processes and procedures for the drafting of regional constitutions and getting the peoples of the territory to ratify same prior to its registration with the National Assembly. Thank you so much, man. So, regional constitution shall apply the tenet of federalism and self-determination in dealing with the constituent ethnic nationalities and subnationalities. 3. The constitution so enacted shall be registered with the National Assembly for documentation and reference purposes only. 4. The constitution so enacted for each region territory shall have the force of law throughout that region, but subject only to regional judicial supervision without interference by any other body. So part 4.4, equal rights between the federating regions. 1, all regional territories shall have equal rights and power. They shall have equal number of legislators in the National Assembly, such that no region will be conferred with a superior advantage over any other on any ground whatsoever. The governments at the federal and regional level are distinct and interdependent and shall conduct their mutual relations based on consultation, collaboration, and cooperation. 3. The regional territories shall ensure reasonable access to its services in all parts of our territory, so far as it is appropriate to do so, having regard to the nature of the service and subject to administrative regulations as may be determined by the regional legislature. Part 4.5, regional border changes and disputes. 1, all regional cross-border disputes shall be settled by agreement of the concerned regions. Where the concerned regions fail to reach agreement, the National Assembly shall decide such disputes based on settlement patterns and the wishes of the people concerned. 2, the decision of the National Assembly may be the subject of an appeal to the Federal Supreme Court. The decision of the Federal Supreme Court shall be the final. Part 5, which is almost the last part of their drafted constitution. So, enactments. Part 5, part 5.1, federal. The National Assembly shall produce a new federal constitution for Nigeria within 6 calendar months of this act being effective. It shall be done by a technical committee based on the synthesis of all previous enactments and result of constitutional conferences as may be in conformity with the provisions and stipulation in this act. 2, the National Assembly shall transmit the enactment to the respective state assemblies for passage with a simple majority vote. Okay, now they are talking. Okay. Because that's how it's done, though. So on ratification by a simple majority number of state assemblies, the new federal constitution for Nigeria shall be voted upon by all Nigerians of voting age with a simple majority vote. The new constitution shall be deemed to have been passed by the people of Nigeria. Part 5.2, regional. 1, the respective state assembly of each regional territory shall produce a new constitution for the regional territory. It shall be done by a technical committee based on the synthesis of all previous enactments, as may be in conformity with the provisions and stipulations in this act. 2, on ratification by a simple majority number of state assemblies, the new regional constitution shall be voted upon by all citizens of voting age in the territory. With a simple majority vote, the constitution shall be deemed to have been passed by the people of that region. So part 6, legislative lists. So the exclusive, which is part 6, part 6.1, So the exclusive list is the one for the federal government. So they say in this regional system of government they are introducing, so the federal government, the executive at the federal level, they will be in charge of the following. 1, external defense, naval, army, and air forces. 2, external affairs. 3, immigration, passport and visas. 4, aviation, including airports, safety of aircraft and ancillary transport as it relates to international bodies. 5, foreign borrowing by the federation from other countries. 6, currency, coinage, and legal tender. 7, banking regulations. 8, pensions, gratuities, and other like benefits payable out of the Consolidated Revenue Fund or any other public fund of the Federation. 9, the public debt of the Federation. 10, public service of the Federation, including the settlement of disputes between the Federation and officers in the public service of the Federation. 11, taxes and duties on revenue sources reserved to the federal government. So then the concurrent list, that is part 6.2. These are powers to be exercised only with express prior consent and concurrence with the respective regional territorial administrations. 1, internal security, police and policing services. 2, ownership and control of defense security services. 3, prison services. 4, interregional coordination. 5, bankruptcy and insolvency. 6, income taxes and excise duty. 7, fingerprints, identification, and criminal records. 8, power and energy. 9, power to make grants of money, etc., for any legitimate purposes. 10, interregional land and marine transportation. 11, interregional transportation railways, including ancillary transport and other services. 12, borrowing of monies within Nigeria for the purposes of the federal, regional, and or state governments. 13, enforcement of the human rights established by the Constitution and international conventions. 14, interregional commerce. 15, scientific research and development. 16, sports. 17, communications and digital economy. Then page 18, which is part 6, chapter 3, residual list. All the powers not expressly delegated to the federal government by the Constitution are therefore exclusively reserved to the regions. So part 7, transitional provisions. 1, during the transition period, towards the enactment of the new federal and regional constitutions, the National Assembly shall undertake the following. A, codify all federal laws and enactments that currently subsist and enforce for possible amendment or repeal. B, undertake every modifications and amendments to all the existing laws, such as would bring all of them into conformity with the letter and spirit of this act. C, formulate and manage all schemes and processes towards an inventory and documentations of assets and projects, inclusive of contractual liabilities as may be applicable. D, design and manage frameworks and enact formulas into the equitable sharing of all assets and liability between and among all government entities. 2, the peoples of the territories designated and referred to as regions or subregions shall immediately commence consultative processes towards ascertaining the wishes of the respective ethnic nationalities on how to live and partner together towards charting the course of self-development. 3, where applicable, various processes, inclusive of a formal referendum, shall be implemented towards arriving at the appropriate political and economic configurations of their territories, regarding the composition of states or regions and or regions. 4, the current federal administration and the state government as they presently are shall do all that would be necessary towards the effective takeoff of a newly reconfigured government at the federal and regional levels on the effective date to be agreed upon, but not later than October 1st, 2023. This was in 2021. Oh. So now it's now modified, and it's modified and reintroduced on the 29th of May, 2024. I told you, that's a long read, but I'm glad that, yeah, we've read that. I will we've put that here. So some of you who possibly, to so many of us who possibly laugh all through when I was reading all of that, okay? And then you heard about it, but you do not know you don't have a clue what the content is. The link is in the comment section. Use it, read it, okay? Somebody drafted that a while back. And from what we have been told, it seems that they are pushing something like that in the National Assembly of Nigeria. And immediately that came out, people were like, no, it's just a distraction, John. It's absolute nonsense, Baba. I said, well, with the latest development that you are seeing in Nigeria, this one shouldn't you shouldn't get caught unaware on this. You are currently being led by people who are so unscrupulous and mischievous too. So whatever the end goal is, right? Keep your eyes peeled like that, open. But if they decided to kind of push this, well, I would say that's good. Let's give it a shot. Let them start with the attempt to actually have a real constitution, where referendum and all. Somebody said this sounded so too good to be true. I know. It's more or less like, oh, this could only be probably written by somebody like Mayegun. Because people who are currently in charge of Nigeria, they will never want to do anything like that. Ever. Never. But there is something they can do, which is, if they test the water, they have dropped it now. If they test the water and all of you begin to kind of deliberate it and begin to kind of say, it's like people like the idea. Okay? So in that act, if you have been president before, it doesn't matter. Okay? You have the chance of becoming the president again. All you have to do is just to have just make sure that your political party has the majority in the National Assembly so that they can keep electing you as their leader. You'll be the president. So as the president of the country, now you go appoint the prime minister. And you have the chance of spending 12 years. So some people who saw it earlier, that was what they first saw, which is the third agenda of Tinubu, and they are testing the water now. In fact, we are reacting, are we not? We are. But the point here is this. When I don't want you to completely, I don't want you to outrightly just push it aside my ego is nothing, Jerry. No. Pay attention to detail. Pay attention to the happenings. It's so important you do, so that you don't turn around later and be like, "Can this one remain? Why is this one priority?" Let me show you something. When Kolu met with the Arewa Consultative Forum, and he was talking to them about his priorities, and he told them that his priority was to return you back to the old anthem. He's done that now. So returning you back to regional system that is not the 1960s. There are so many Yorubas who are asking that we should return back to 1963 constitution, Republican constitution, where you have regional system. Okay? But here is the point. Tinubu can actually he said he's still going to take you to so many bags. He said it. Now, It's probably going to take you back to 1963, but it's never going to be the same 1963 that you have in mind. It's going to be Tinubu's created 1963. And like this, una go open eyes the watch. So he told them, he said, let me play you this. I know you don't like seeing his face, okay, but you've seen a video where he was asking that they should try and speak, the Arewas should try and call the governors too. He is doing his own best. They should call the governors too to come and do something about the poor people, right? Then he was talking about the national anthem that he just changed. Many other things he's still going to. We must, let me use this as my break, okay? I know you don't like his face, but you just have to watch this.
January or from February or from March, April, May. You are still my brothers and sisters. I know deep down in your heart, you watched the election drama played out. So many of you voted for me. Those who disagree with me voted the other way, but I'm here. And I thank all of you, particularly God Almighty, for placing me here. I've listened to the statistics. Yes, you voted massively for me. I got here with that mandate. But that shouldn't be the end of it. So for you to come this time of the year to congratulate me, combined prayers and fellowship for the first year in office. You have making early strikes to remind me of my promise to pay attention to the need of Nigeria. Yes, identity problem is the North or the South. To me, I don't see that. I see humanity. Oh, God has put us together. There's no doubt that we are going to be one. Let me allude to something that happened yesterday. The change of national anthem. Nigeria will hate it. Some people say, okay, so what? Is that your priority? It's my priority. I agree with the National Assembly. If they make law, I got to obey that law. Or we disagree openly and close the chapter. But the question of diversity, who gave us the name Nigeria? Is it not Britain or somewhere? Have we changed our name? We are Nigerians. Our passport shows that. As long as we are Nigerians and one family, we remain and protect our diversity and love one another as brothers and sisters. Thank you, sir. For all that you are doing for Nigeria to be united. I'm glad the SGF had mentioned the appointment. I don't see it as the North and South. I see it as a Nigerian project. The question of who you are, you have no control over it. It is God Almighty that put you in that particular place and make you a member of that family. You have no control over it. When I came begging for votes, I didn't say vote for me as a Yoruba man. I say vote for me as a Bola Ahmed Tinubu, one of you. Accept me. And I could see the result. I'm hanging on to that mandate jealously. And I'm working my heart out. And I promise you, I still work harder. The question of out of school children is unacceptable. Education is a tool against poverty. That brought so many of us here.
That's not bad. It's not, it's in its clowning element, right? I know not what he's saying. I'm talking about how he's saying them, right? It's not like the type that just get you so angry, so annoying and all that. You're supposed to be angry. Okay? Tinubu is every time you see Tinubu on your screen is a reminder of the calamity that has befallen Nigeria, and it's going to remain so for another 8 years, or so another 7 years. And if he has his way, his third term, it could actually be extended to another 12 years. Now, don't give madman. You don't give cutlass to madman. It's easier to give a cutlass to a madman. To collect the cutlass, not the real job. Okay? So yeah, Kolu was talking to the Arewa consultative people, the Arewa forum. And it was in his element, of course. So it was like talking more about, like random things. But again, it was just talking like randomly, generally, and all of that. Well, he's more comical than deluded, but at the same time, pure full of lies. Okay? So I have more. But don't worry. I won't give you everything at the same time, so I don't get too upset, angry this early. So I'll take you to Kano, just briefly. Okay, let's go to Kano. Today, you've been following the development in Kano, where they now have two emirs. So we have the emir admin, emir arcade. We have the emir of Nasarawa and emir of Kano. So today, being the first week after the Wahala started, the 15th emir, Adobayoro, who now lives in a small palace in Nasarawa, as well as the Sanusi, who is now the emir, the 16th emir, well, he is 14th, and he's also the 16th emir. Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, who lives in the big palace in Kano. So today is the first Friday, and usually it is the emir that prays. Excuse me, it is the emir that leads prayer in Kano. And I think it's the same in almost all of the places the emir leads, right? Anyway, they now send invitation. Wahala started yesterday when they said, Adobayoro said he was coming to Kano to come and lead the prayer today. No, you are not. You are no longer the emir. So the wahala as we speak was that the police had to quickly jump in and say, no, Alhaji Bayero, you can't go to Kano. Because Sanusi also issued an invitation letter to people to come, that he will be leading a prayer in Kano today. So in order to avoid the clash of emirs, like Ija Emir, to avoid the clash of the emirs, they were able to persuade Bayero to go and pray in a different mosque, to go and lead other people in different mosque. While Lamido Sanusi was also allowed to go and lead his own prayer, Jumat prayer in Kano today. If not, Odunlade Adekola, sorry, you remember all those, when I was still in Nigeria, right? When they had, when these Yoruba movies, right? Stuff like this, they would not do the movie. I don't know if they have not even done it already. Ijaemia. And now you will see, you will see Yoruba movie makers within a week. What happened in Kano? They would do. They would have produced a movie for it, and they will give it a title: Ijaemia, Ijaemia, Ijaemia. Ladies and gentlemen, there is this new Ogbonge movie that has just been released. It is called Ijaemia.